One cold February morning, I walked into work and was promptly invited to travel to Panama with a dozen strangers to document their efforts to install solar panel systems on a remote island. Normally, this is not something an introvert like me would do, but just a few days prior, I had tattooed "Yes and" on my arm as a challenge to say yes to what life brought my way and see what happens. So I did. I said yes to joining this ragtag crew on their worthy adventure, and little did I know how much this mantra of saying yes would guide our little trip.
We're hoping for transformative impact on the island of Isla Gobernadora, or Governor's Island. The people there have been living without electricity. That means no electricity in their clinic for refrigerating vaccines and medicines, no light in their classrooms. These aren't, isn't electricity as a luxury, it's electricity as a necessity to improve the quality of life. Practical darkness, without electricity and light often means spiritual darkness as well. And we hope through our presence there, working side by side with the people there, that God's light will shine in a very transformative spiritual way.
Governor's Island is located about 30 minutes off the coast of Panama. Outside of a couple car batteries, the island has no source of electricity. Over the next 5 days, it's SonLight Power's mission to install solar panel systems at a school, clinic, and church in order to empower the more than 200 people who call the island home. Before our group sets out on the 6-hour bus ride, we stop for a quick morning devotion.
This week, we're gonna have our plans, but we need to not miss God's plans, because I think God's plan is gonna turn out better. So that's gonna be my motto. Change plans, change lives.
Today we're going to travel to our mission base for the week in Santa Catalina. On the way we're going to stop off at Santiago. It's a small town, but it's really the last outpost with places to find hardware, supplies for our trip, and so forth. We'll meet up with our mission host, Jordan Guy. As I'm getting to know the group, it's kind of neat to see they're from a variety of backgrounds. I'm really excited to see how they come together and gel. Usually on trips like this, there's a little bit of a comfort level to overcome, but you can see already that the comfort's already there. It's being broken down quickly.
During our stop for supplies in Santiago, I talked with a few team members about their expectations and about one of our early challenges.
I'm really excited to install an off-grid battery-based system. So I do a lot of commercial solar PV installs, which are large grid-connected systems. So, I'm looking forward to getting my hands dirty and learning a little bit more about battery-powered solar. What I don't know now is if we've got absolutely everything we need for an installation. I'm sure we will absolutely make it work.
So when we pulled up to this shopping center, they were closing the gates over the doors of the hardware store. And so I went up and asked the guy that was closing the doors if they were closing for the day or just closing for lunch or what. And he said they were closing for the day because it's Sunday, so they close at 1. But we almost didn't get in. I think the biggest obstacle is just going to be everybody being flexible with timing. Everything can be scheduled and lined up as far as like an agenda for the day. Okay, well today we're gonna leave the beach at 8 o'clock to be at the island at 9:30. Well, the guy who sells the gasoline for the boats, he wasn't awake, he was still asleep, so we had to wake him up to get the gas, that kind of stuff. I'm hoping that we're not gonna run into any major obstacles. Everything's pretty simple.
After nearly 2 full days of travel via plane and bus, we arrive at our hostel, unpack all the supplies, and take in the beauty surrounding us. Before setting foot on Governor's Island for the first time, we huddle up and go over a few details for the day and receive a bit of inspiration from Mark Fisher.
You know, the whole Christ's entire life and the whole New Testament was based on inclusion and reaching out and supporting and focusing on those with the least. That's the entire New Testament. Today, I mean, so this trip, so we're going over this island, and at least I have a lot of questions. I don't quite know what to expect. I know Jordan and Lindsay have given us a heads up, so we're not totally flying blind here, but I don't have this disillusion that these folks are these poor folks and they have nothing and they're all desperate, and I don't think it's gonna be like that at all. I think they're gonna be very content and happy people, but they are lacking some very basic things that I think we're gonna bring to them that could be game changers.
It's more than just providing the solar power for a clinic, a school, and a church. It's about connecting in real ways with the kids and the community there. I expect that something big will happen. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but something big's gonna happen.
We face the first challenge of the day within minutes. We have to transport a huge pole for a mile on foot, and then many miles by boat. But fortunately, a nearby visitor offers us a ride, and we're off.
Yes, we're on our initial trip to the island. 3 boats, 1 equipment boat, 2 people boats. And we're going to scope out everything, set up our workstations and our equipment, meet the kids, have a good time, and then get a little work done.
We begin by evaluating each of the 3 sites that will receive a solar panel system: the clinic, the school, and the church. First, Nurse Bobby and her husband Rob check out the clinic.
So folic acid for pregnant. Right. Yeah. So most mucho.
It looks like what they have is on a really good day when all the conditions are just right, when all the equipment is working, is probably okay. But it does not look like equipment that is going to last for a long time.
Not bad. Not near what I would have hoped for, I guess. They certainly could use a lot more variety in the medicines. I'm sure somebody probably came and just gave them this section and this section. So. The refrigerator, I heard that as far as for vaccinations, that's why it would be nice to have the refrigeration, because they have to somebody comes to the island every so many months and keeps up the kids with their vaccinations. So if you could do it here, I mean, that would be great. Yeah.
But in the long term, they're going to end up with a system that maybe for the next 10 years they don't have to worry about it.
En la noche.
En la noche exactamente, y no contamos ahorita mismo con luz.
Okay. He said that sometimes there is an emergency in the night, something he have to do with the patient, and there is no light. And it's very difficult to work in that way. Now, with this effort that you are making, they will have resources to give him better medical attention.
Next up, we meet some of the students at the school and evaluate their need for power.
Más inglés. No escuchen a la maestra.
We're going to introduce us first, so you know who we are, real quick. We came from all over the place.
Hola, me llamo Colin.
Hola, niños. Me llamo Sofía. Vivo en Estados Unidos. ¿Cómo se llama ella? Sofía. Muy bien.
Uno de los hijos, Maverick, Caden, y yo soy Jordan.
Excelente.
Okay. Entonces, ¿quién es ella?
¿Quién es ella? No tan fuerte, solo lo van a decir. ¿Quién es ella?
Lindsay.
Lindsay. ¿Cómo se llama?
The school will require the most time, so we quickly set out to do some preliminary work before taking a break for lunch.
See a little bit around.
Some of the women on the island volunteer to feed our crew each day, and we're treated to fish caught just hours before our meal. As we eat, I chat with Jacob, a college student studying engineering.
I think it's always encouraging to give to other people. I mean, I've experienced that on smaller scales. I've never been on a mission trip, so I assume that it's the same experience that you can kind of pour yourself out on people, and then at the same time, God's just going to fill you right back up and send you back to work. And that, I think that's why we're all here.
The last site to visit is the church. However, finding the church turns out to be a little trickier than expected.
Did we lose our group, I think?
Yeah,
I think we lost our group. So Colin and I know about 14 phrases in Spanish tops.
Phrases? I thought you'd say words.
Maybe words. Maybe it's more like words. So now we're trying to decide whether we keep perusing the island or whether we go back from where we came. So we don't know where we're going, but there's something that looks interesting, so we're gonna go see that. So we found a sweet soccer field and a playground, and not our group. So we're gonna see if we can find our way back to the clinic. So we got to the clinic, and they're not here. And those are kind of the only 3 places we know. Ay, ay, ay.
Once we do find the church, it turns out the pastor is gone for the week, but we have an opportunity to talk with his wife, Maria.
¿Cómo cree que va a beneficiarse la iglesia después de la luz? ¿Siente que va a haber un cambio?
Yo pienso que sí, sí va a haber un cambio, porque de verdad la necesitábamos de salud para venir en la noche.
It's going to be a huge change because we were needing this light to gather during the night, and I can hear smiles say it all. This is going to be a great help for them.
As wonderful as it was to meet the children of the school, the pastor's wife of the church, and experience the beautiful surroundings, not everything about our first day was great. It seems like we're a bit disconnected with the community, and there's some uncertainty if we could actually accomplish 3 jobs in just a few days.
One thing that gave me pause was that we thought we would have a pastor on the island available for us to help mobilize people there for the training on Thursday. We found out on the island that he was not there and that he was in Santiago for the entire week. So we'll have to find a way to bring people together for our training on Thursday afternoon. We want to get all the locals involved as much as we can. And that's from little things like eating together at lunch, or having them help prepare food for us to eat, or helping us move equipment, just carrying equipment, digging holes where we need to mount some solar panels. So getting them involved in that way develops a sense of ownership, that sweat equity at the very least, and then we can develop other things to develop a sense of ownership as well, financially, microfinancing, and so forth.
Unfortunately, day 3 begins with more problems. Colin and Terry, an experienced SonLight power engineer, are missing vital materials for the roof of the school.
The attachment for the rails to the roof, we have lag bolts that are for wood trusses. These trusses are metal. The threads and the bolts they're too far apart because the metal's a lot thinner, and also the threads don't go all the way up to the top of the bolt. But you know, we're on an island and we're in Panama. Finding everything that I want is not possible. So we're going to see what we can do. If we have enough of the stainless steel, we can try to go that route. If not, we'll see if we can get some of this local stuff and do enough to make it work.
Meanwhile, Dr. Mendez, a physician from Panama City, and Nurse Bobby are providing medical checkups for the students and talking about the importance of dental health.
I become part of this in the moment that we choose this place, and it's not possible in my conscience to make other people make something for my country and I be out of this. I have to be part, and also because I want to be grateful with God in everything, and I know that this make God feel happy, and that's why I do it. The Bible says, "Más bienaventurado is better to give than to receive." That when we are giving something, we are also receiving something better than what we give. How we can love God if we don't love other people? But this is a opportunity to think in others.
At the clinic, Jacob gets to put his engineering skills to use with help from seasoned engineer Mark and the founder of SonLight Power, Alan.
Well, he always makes fun of engineers. You know, engineers get a bad rap. You know, there's the book smart, you know, being able to do formulas and working on theory, but then there's the nuts and bolts part, you know, especially in a situation like this where you never quite know what you're going to get into. And every time you turn around, something's not quite like you thought, so you got to scramble and scrap and fit pieces together. And that nuts and bolts know-how, kind of what I would call redneck engineering, is something that Alan is awesome at. So as an engineer, you got to respect that. So he doesn't have an engineering degree, but I consider him to be an excellent engineer.
While outside the clinic, Alan told me about an early trip to Honduras and the origin behind SonLight Power and why they do what they do and how they do it.
But at that time, they were leading the teams down there, and they were supporting 2 churches that were off the grid, and they didn't have lights, didn't have anything. They didn't have enough money to run a generator, so they said, well, let's do solar to them. And I said, that'd be great. It'd be easy. It'd only be $1,500, you know. And they go, $1,500, you know. But we raised the money, and we did that. We did that. We saw how it changed the life of the church and the people. And we also, at the same time, installed 2 medical clinics and repaired 2 more. You know, there's the old adage, you can buy a person a fish or you can teach them to fish, you know. And this is a little bit even further than that. You can give them something that's going to last 30 years, solar power.
As the day wears on, the team at the school are faced with more obstacles as Terry and Colin are short on supplies.
Well, obviously this morning our fastening challenge was how to anchor our racking feet to the, we'll call it a metal deck roofing. So that we solved, and we came really close to running out of hardware. We had miraculously just enough mid clamps. I fully understand now that you must prepare for any situations. Again, today was all mounting, so we had some mounting challenges. Tomorrow, we're gonna say, oh, we probably need some more butt splices or, you know, more wiring or something. So it's every day is a new challenge. So back home, we just order more parts.
At the end of day 3, our team is reminded of the importance of flexibility and leave with hope for a smoother tomorrow. Day 4 begins with fiestas for the children, led by Fia, Kevin, and Kevin's wife, Jenny.
The fiestas is basically a time to have fun with the kids. They usually don't have Americans visiting their communities, and they love engage with Americans, with us coming, new people, playing new games. They always wonder, why are you here? You know, why did you choose our community? And that's the perfect opportunity for us to share that it's all about God, all about Jesus loving them through us. So I love that part a lot.
Between fiestas, Jenny and I got to know Rosalia, the school's principal, and she shared about her excitement for the project and how it affected her personally.
Creo que un impacto muy bueno en los niños y en la comunidad, porque es la primera vez que nos llega un sistema de luz tan moderno, y espero pues utilizarlos para que los niños pues puedan tener una educación más moderna. he podido experimentar a través de ustedes pues el gran amor que Dios tiene para las personas. ¿Qué puedo decir? Me siento muy agradecida, muy bendecida y creo que después de dar este paso pues me queda dejar que Dios siga haciendo su trabajo en mí.
Conversations like that one with Rosalia are an awesome reminder of what happens when people come together and offer themselves for the benefit of others. And as we experienced that boost of morale at the school, the team at the clinic was making progress.
Have another.
Another.
At lunch, Mark and Colin explained that the installations are starting to speed up, but there are still some roadblocks to overcome.
So we have 8 panels to put up on the roof. We have 2 installed for the 3rd time. So hopefully in the next 2 hours we'll get the other 6 down, and then another hour to run the wire into the building.
Obviously super hot. You're trying to like mount hardware underneath of like a screaming hot panel that's probably 120 or 30 degrees. Your tools are getting hot, the hardware is getting hot, your water's getting hot. It's brutal, man.
You know how it goes. First one's a little rough. The next 2 will go twice as fast as the first one. If not, I don't think we're gonna make it.
One of SonLight Power's objectives for each project is to find and train locals to help maintain the systems. This ensures longevity for the equipment and creates a true partnership with the community. In Panama, Jordan helped identify a local electrician, Victor, who was excited to join the project and help with the system.
Cuando tú hablaste conmigo, me mencionaste el proyecto que tenía aquí, yo le di, pude conocer la importancia no como un técnico electricista, sino como para adquirir conocimiento en la especie en la rama de un sistema solar, como esto que no había vivido la experiencia. Entonces, y sé que aparte de un trabajo, íbamos a tener una convivencia donde todos nos íbamos a sentir igual. O sea, que no iba a haber ninguna diferencia en ninguno, tanto de ustedes como nosotros, como también los que andan con nosotros. Y ha sido una experiencia muy bonita y estoy muy contento por primera vez participar en algo así, un proyecto de la iglesia.
As day 4 comes to a close, the team heads home, happy to see relationships forming with the locals on the island.
Tuesday for me was a really good day. It was the first day that we had the fiestas with the children. So it was a moment for me to really connect as much as possible, and we just spent time with them, you know, just working on learning each other's names and just really connecting with them. The community was really just happy that we're here. I think most know why we're here, and so to have people walk around and reach out, I think that meant something. At least I hope it meant something to the islanders.
With much work still left to be completed, the team is feeling a lot of pressure. However, Terry still takes the time to continue to mentor young Callie, but soon they encounter another hurdle.
Terry, apparently that was too tight. The screw came out.
The bolt that goes in the battery came out. It's not supposed to come out. It's supposed to stay so we can attach the wire to the battery, make our negative connection. So we got to figure out how to get the bolt in there that'll stay and it'll keep the weight of the cable, and it'll still make a good electrical connection. And we've had drilled into that before.
Drilled into this?
No, drilled into the post.
To that?
And fixed it down like that. It's again a delicate process.
Meanwhile, at the clinic, the team there is installing the lights.
What you doing? So we're gonna add more capacity to this, more lights. The good news is from an old project that doesn't work anymore. They have some existing wiring up there, so we just have to splice into it. So other than the fact that it's 175 degrees up there and probably some poisonous spiders, it's fine. It's all good. Is this the first light bulb?
It is the first light bulb.
And we just got this one light to finish, and then we're headed up to the school. We're running short on time, so I think we'll have to prioritize.
While the teams continue to work on the school and clinic, Bobby is evaluating the team's water supply.
See what we got in here. All right, not much. About this much water left for the rest of the day. It's 5 o'clock, and these are all empty. We filtered all of it. Maybe a little bit left, but it's been a hot day. Everybody's been drinking it. We've been here later. We've done anything at the church yet. They're finishing up the clinic, but you never know how long that'll take.
Back at the school, Jordan continues to wrestle the battery.
Oh my gosh. And that's it, folks. Yes.
Uh-oh. Just broken sunglasses, that's all.
Is that the first tool you picked up since we got here?
Don't tell anybody, but yeah.
What are you preparing this for?
What's going to happen is this will go up in the ceiling, and a light fixture will be slid to the end of this cut. So this slit will be hidden underneath the light fixture.
Meanwhile, the team at the clinic is in need of some creative solutions as well.
Again, we find ourselves with easily replaceable items on the mainland, but we're stuck with a box with an 1.25 inch hole, and I've got 1.5 inch conduit that I need to fit into it. So, I mean, the only solution is just hogging it out. Our test subject, Michael here, is gonna sit on it while we...
Here to assist.
Pretty good teamwork there. If it worked, it worked. Michael's still here.
So Kev, now that you've been working with Jacob a little bit, are you aware of his nickname?
I don't know his nickname. I'm curious now.
I have been called Baby Fresh once or twice by Mike.
He has a fairly pale skin, and thus requires a SPF 100 plus. I'm not sure exactly what the plus means, and so he's kind of putting on, I was like, SPF 100 plus, huh? And he was like, yeah, you know, I just gotta keep care of this Baby Fresh skin. And I was like, you know what Baby Fresh just gave you? And he was like, what? And I was like, I think you just got your nickname, buddy.
Soon we'll be able to take a much-needed break as the students offer a presentation of gratitude. But first, we test the system at the school to make sure everything is working and ready to go.
Okay, now we know everything's worked, so we're turning on the system to do the dedication and so that the kids will have power for their presentation. So turning on the PV array, turning on the ground fault, turning on the battery status, turning on the inverter, turning on the AC outlet here, turning on the AC output, and also the AC input. We don't have AC input, but should be all hot. Hallelujah! Let there be light, and there's light.
Time with the students and their beautiful faces is just what the team needs in the middle of an exhausting final home stretch.
Each of you is unique and special. I'd also like to say that the system that Alan is about to present is more than a gift. It's an investment. It's an investment in you. It's an investment in the kingdom of God. We want you to prosper, and God wants you to prosper as well.
Yay, all right, good job, buen hecho.
During the presentation, we offer some gifts to the school, including games, school supplies, a television, and DVDs. Though the students' presentation provided a great boost, we ended the day bittersweet.
Everybody, it is time to go, to hit the road or the water.
So we're not done yet. So what does this mean?
It means we're coming back tomorrow. Come back on Friday on the day we had planned to go surfing. Hopefully tomorrow's work won't take too long, but it's pretty clear we have to come back anyway. It won't do us any good to work another 20 minutes. So find a stopping point, and we'll meet you guys out here, okay?
Our final and unscheduled day of the island begins with some big goals. We have to finish the clinic and complete the not yet started installation at the church. Fortunately, our boat crew found out we needed help and they jumped in.
So the situation is we've got, this is a 3-project, right? Where we got 3 separate buildings and we're low on supplies. That's part of the challenge of these trips, you just gotta, necessity drives creativity, so a lot of us will be thinking outside the box and robbing Peter to pay Paul.
We're assembling the control panel and we're wiring the batteries the way they need to be, and we're starting to assemble the array. The issue now is that this is all the wrong expert. So we are going to be using their wiring.
And how many panels are you putting up here?
240 watt panels. It's going on the pole. This is the array that'll fit on top of the pole. This will go on the pole.
With the church's roof not totally secure enough for the solar panel, the panel is placed on a pole. Positioning the pole in the ground is a tricky task and will require several people. So the boat crew and locals join in the effort.
Our God is so big, so strong, and so mighty.
Okay, tell them this is the way it's going to go. We're going to shove the pole up.
This way, we get lined up. This way.
The rope is going to take over.
I gotta.
Okay, yeah, 180.
I am facing south right now.
Pull, pull, pull. Okay, good, good.
Pat.
Good job.
Turn it.
So, come over this way more.
Round.
Echa todo. Sí, hay que echar todo. Audacious. Power team activate. Righteous.
Cuando ustedes dicen duro, significa duro.
Cuando es duro. Duro, sí. Dale duro.
Just after securing the pole in the ground, an unexpected rain came.
I'm pretty sure doing electrical work in the rain is not a very good idea.
We have about 400 watts about to go into the church, which will power lighting for it, as well as any other audio-visual equipment they want to, put to use. Yeah, it was really cool to see everyone come together from the community, people helping with raising the pole to mixing the cement. Like you said, elders coming together. This is exactly the kind of collaboration we're looking for. This is the sweat equity that builds a sense of ownership over these systems, and hopefully we'll build additional ownership with future steps as well.
As I stood under the outer roof of the church, I began to hear an older woman singing. Soon she was joined with others playing instruments. Though I didn't speak her language and didn't know the words she was singing, in that moment I understood her heart. It was full of gratitude, full of praise. And though the man with the title of pastor wasn't present, the spiritual leader of the island was there before me, leading us all. Soon after the worship songs ended, the brief rain had passed, as though performing a baptism for the entire island and our team, making us all something new.
You're here. Today is your day, and you're going to have life. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Le deseo muchas bendiciones.
I wish many blessings to you.
Y los amo en el amor del Señor.
I love you all.
Y siempre lo recordaremos.
And we always will remember each one of you.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
We then spent our remaining minutes enjoying the company of the kids before waving goodbye one last time. The clinic, the school, and the church now had more light, and so did we. And so did our new friends on the island. We all came together for the call of something good. We all gave what we could, we all received more than expected, and together generated light.
Hasta luego.
Our final day in Panama would include the beginning of 36 hours of travel back home. But first, we had a couple hours before our bus would arrive to make a quick jaunt to the beach.
When we first got on the bus, I was kind of looking around going, we're kind of a motley crew.
I said everybody, not just 1 or 2 people, but everybody just kept right at it.
I kept running past the store that was near the school, and one of the little boys that came to our fiestas every day, Christian, was just hanging out there. And every time I ran by, "Hola, Sofia," I'd run back, "Hola, Sofia." Like, it was moments like that. Just, they remembered who I was, and they asked how I was. I won't forget those faces and those smiles and those hugs, for sure.
It was awesome to pull the light switch and see some of the people's face light up.
Spiritually, for me, I just have this overwhelming sense that I need to do more, and focusing on my strengths and saying I need to apply that.
I started crying, Teddy was crying, Rosalia was crying, and we held hands and prayed. And we talked about maybe we were all there in the right place at the right time, that God brought us all together.
We had limited time and limited resources, and our journey was not easy, but it was full. We had come as separate individuals with our own stories and our own plans. But as we said yes and came together, each bringing their own light, what a shine it made.
This week I had a lot of firsts, and my first was getting my passport and traveling outside the country. I forgot to sign my passport, so the guy at the airport made fun of me. Good times. My first sunburn in Panama, and that came from learning how to surf. You can see it's pretty bad, but surfing was also a first for me, so that was fun. And I got my first jellyfish sting on my leg, which you can't really see it, but he kind of stung here and then he wrapped himself around this leg, which was not an enjoyable experience, but it's all part of surfing, so I'm just glad I had it. First time meeting any of these team members, except by creeping on their pictures on the internet. I made, I don't even know, I think there were 18 scrambled eggs. It seemed like a lot more. It's kind of pathetic now thinking about it, but I made a lot of scrambled eggs one morning to surprise everybody, and they ate about half of them because nobody really likes scrambled eggs. First time installing solar panels and doing all the wiring inside. I kind of learned everything from people here and on the job. I had no experience with it, but it ended up turning out really good, and it was a good experience, something I want to do again soon. Baby fresh out.